Yo, this video is about interdependent relationships. And I first came across this idea, it was a few years ago when I read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And I highly recommend everyone read that book. He has a whole chapter about, I think one of the habits is interdependent relationships. And there's 3 types of relationships he describes, which is dependent relationships, independent, and interdependent relationships. And this idea came to me because I was looking through my camera roll to find a picture, and I found a screenshot from this website called psychcentral.com. But obviously, I only have one phone, so I had to write down the quote from the article that I found. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to dive into interdependent relationships. So it goes, what makes interconnections healthy is interdependency, not codependency. Paradoxically, interdependency requires 2 people capable of autonomy, the ability to function independently. When couples love each other, it's normal to feel attached, to desire closeness, to be concerned for each other, and to depend on each other. Where was I? Their lives are intertwined and they're affected by and need each other. However, they share power equally and take responsibility for their own feelings, actions, and contributions to the relationship. Because they have self-esteem, they can manage their thoughts and feelings on their own and don't have to control someone else to feel okay. They can allow for each other's differences and honor each other's separateness. Thus, they're not afraid to be honest. They can listen to their partner's feelings and needs without feeling guilty or becoming defensive. Since their self-esteem doesn't depend upon their partner, they don't fear intimacy, and independence doesn't threaten the relationship. In fact, the relationship gives them each more freedom. There's mutual respect and support for each other's personal goals, but both are committed to the relationship. So, there's 3 types of relationships. There's dependent relationships where 2 people are dependent upon each other. They're dependent upon each other for good emotions, for happiness, and for self-esteem. And there's independent relationships where 2 people are independent, but they're not come together as one. There's still that fear of intimacy. There's still that fear of becoming and coming together. But interdependent relationships is when you go into a relationship and you guys are both independent and you guys both respect each other's boundaries and you don't need each other. It's not that need for each other, you know what I mean? Because a lot of relationships nowadays, people are very codependent on each other for their own happiness and their self-esteem, and their partners could make or break their day, which is not a healthy dynamic. You know, it kind of seems the norm that, you know, your relationship either brings you happiness or brings you despair. But no relationship should make or break you. No person should have that power over you. And a truly healthy relationship, 2 people, they are full on their own. Obviously, no one's 100% full, but they don't need other people. They don't need someone else's validation for their own happiness. There's not that need, you know what I mean? It's you appreciate somebody's company and you love them for themselves, and you don't need to change them or control them. Because if you need to change or control someone, you probably shouldn't even be in a relationship with them. If you can't trust them and that makes you feel insecure, you shouldn't be in a relationship with them. So, interdependent relationships is 2 people coming together, 2 people that value themselves, have self-esteem, have interests and hobbies outside of that relationship, but they value the relationship. You know, it's this difference between independent and interdependent relationships. Is independence, 2 people doing their own thing, but they don't have that intimacy, they don't have that growing together, which is interdependent. You guys are both independent, but you're growing together, which is like the most beautiful relationship you could have with somebody. Is, okay, I don't need you, but I love you and I love this relationship, and let's grow together. You know what I mean? But we could both be separate. We don't need to be the same person. I don't need to control you. There's mutual trust and respect for each other's interests and likes and boundaries. And that's the relationship everyone should strive for. But for that kind of relationship, you have to be full on your own. You kind of have to do some inner work. You have to not be so reliant on other people and look within, do some personal work on yourself, figure out your own insecurities, and dive into why you're insecure about certain things, and why do you need to control somebody else, and why does somebody else have that power over you to make you happy or sad depending on their actions. You know what I mean? You should allow your partner to have their own interests and their own hobbies and their own passions and spend time away from you. You know what I mean? It's healthy. That's perfectly normal. A healthy relationship is being able to be two different people but come together and appreciate each other's company, but also appreciate the distance between you two, because you don't need each other to be happy, to be fulfilled. That's the basis of an interdependent relationship. So it's kind of my thoughts. That article that I saw on my phone, it kind of just inspired this, because this is something that when I look at my relationships, I try to strive for an interdependent relationship. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to have to fulfill me, and I don't want somebody that needs me, and I don't want to need somebody. I want to genuinely want to be around somebody because I'm drawn to them, and we could both respect each other's time and space, but also we want to come together and we want to be together, not because we need it, because we desire it, because it's like it just flows naturally. It's come from a place of love and not fear. Anyway, those are my thoughts on interdependent relationships. Peace.